me, PhiL, and I'm here with another one of my great friends and just beautiful person is JoDyRaY. JoDyRaY is a poet, an actor, writer, producer, has so much going on, and I know a lot about Jody. You know, Jody, we first met actually at a show that I was doing, and it was so great how you asked me, you suggested that, PhiL, why don't you do some of your monologues at these open mics? And I ended up doing that at a few open mics, and I guess so many doors actually opened for me. I really thank you, but enough about what I did.
But you took advantage of it. You was really good at it.
Thank you. Yeah, you really.
That was your one-man show.
Anything I Want.
Anything I Want. Yeah. Oh, that's been almost a decade. Let me be quiet. So
I would like you to tell us a little bit about you. I know that you have a one-man show yourself that's been playing. It's a wonderful show that has played and continuously playing. And talk a little bit about your poetry. I might even have you to share just a couple of, yeah.
Okay, I have a show called Scattered Thoughts. I've written, and it's consists of about 13 poems that I do as monologues. And I have a CD of the show. It's called Scattered Thoughts, but it's done in a poetry form with music and stuff. But right now, I'm in the process of redoing Scattered Thoughts, the show. I gave it a facelift, so now it takes place in a tent, a homeless person talking to themselves. And now I do the poems all through this character who's talking to spirits and people that's unseen. So I'm waiting for, I have a couple companies, theater companies that want to produce it. So that's what I'm doing right now with that, the show Scattered Thoughts. But my CD, I'm redoing that too because I'm adding three more poems.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I'm giving that a facelift. So even though I've written it like 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I was thinking that was the time it should have been a hit, but now I realize it was just in the infant stage. Now I see it has matured.
It's continuously evolving.
It's growing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Let me ask you this. Have you always written? Was this something that you've always done? I just have to write, I got to get this out?
No, to tell you the truth, I was only into theater, and I was always used to the fourth wall. And when I wasn't in a play or something, I kept saying, what can I do, like an open mic or something? I knew I didn't sing or do comedy. There's a lot of open mics for that. And then I was walking down the street, and these 7 poems wrote themselves right in my head. and then I just wrote them down and didn't think nothing about it. But at the theater company I was a part of, Black Repertory Theater in the Bay Area. It's like the oldest theater company, Black rep-owned theater in the Bay Area, in California, really. So I let somebody read it there, and they said, you could have read these things at a poetry lounge. And I never heard of a poetry lounge, open mic poetry.
Yeah.
And that's what got me to start reading my poetry.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's just, and I was only doing it so I can keep myself doing something until I get into a play.
Right.
Never knew my poetry was going to take off like it has, and end up being. I've been at a lot of places reading my poetry. A lot of people hired me to perform it, and I got in a rap group because of my poetry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A rap group?
Yeah, I was in a rap group.
That's amazing.
And because the rappers seen my show Scattered Thoughts on the public access. It used to come on the public access for years.
Right.
And he liked the way I talked.
Right.
And he wanted me to use some words. Then next thing you know, I was end up writing songs with him as a rapper. Then I started performing with him.
I think you even do artwork because I have your CD.
Oh yeah.
And you designed actually the art thing and even your cards.
Yeah.
You designed that. So you not only do poetry and write, but you have art too. Was that something just natural, or you just sketched, or how did you come?
I come from like an artist family. In my family, my mother and father, my father does sculpture, my mother knits and stuff. And they always wanted to see what we naturally know how to do.
That's right.
And whatever we naturally know how to do, they told us to make a living off of it.
I like
They didn't
that.
tell us go get a job. They said, you can do hair, make a living off of that. You can draw pictures and sell them. So that's how I grew up. I thought everybody was like that. I really never worked at a regular job.
Wow.
All the jobs I have worked at, like clothing stores, because I can sew and design clothes. So being creative is just part of my nature.
Oh, that's
like
so
that. So whatever I decide I want to do, if I didn't have nobody to do my CD, so I did it myself. And it ended coming out. And at the same, right now I'm doing me a poetry book. I'm gonna use photos because people always take pictures and stuff of me. So I have all these photos, and I'm gonna use photos and poems of photos of myself and poems I've written, but photos that have the expression of the poem. And I'm gonna do a whole book on that.
Oh, that's amazing.
So because people always say, people, you got so many photos, you gotta do an art gallery. But I came up with the idea of putting my pictures with some of my poems I've written.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, so that is amazing too.
I got to see the show. I got to hear your CD. I can't wait for you guys to check it out. It's some amazing stuff. Where do you find what to write about? I mean, what is it that inspires you to write?
You know, I never claimed my writing at first because a lot of my writing just comes to me. I don't really sit there like I know some writers do, sit and come up with a bomb poem. Mine just come to me, and that's a lot of times I used to just read my poems. I didn't never memorize them because I didn't think they were mine, and it was because I took them as like how people read Psalms out of the Bible and stuff.
Yeah.
I just thought it was spirits just talking to me, and I never rewrote the poems. They write their own stuff just as clear as.
Wow, it's just
So I looked at it as a gift. I kept asking this God, I said, what can I do while I'm waiting for being a play? So I just figured, I'll write poems through you. You can go do open mic poems. So, but a lot of the poems I written, like this one called I Am Perfect. And it took me like years to grow into that poem. But I read it for people, for other people to be inspired by. But for me, it wasn't nothing. I didn't think I was perfect. But as years went on, I realized I understand the poem and I can claim the poem and say it for myself now. I do a couple lines from this. Goes like, I am perfect. I am perfect because I said I am. That's your fault. You feel deformed, imperfect. Who and what are you comparing yourself to? I am perfectly me today. Whatever I am about or look like, that's my perfect image and being. That's enough of it right now. I can't even think of the next.
That is so, you know how it just flows out of you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because you performed it so much or you've lived it, but it was like it was just so, it just came from your soul, and so spirit is so captivating.
Thank you. I can say now it's coming from my soul. Before it was because I memorized it.
Wow.
But I can say that, and because I finally accept everything of me.
Yeah.
And it is not a poem about I'm perfect because I'm a certain image. I'm perfect because this is the way God made me. And this is the way I am, and acceptance of whatever you are about. So that's why I can identify it now, because it took me a long time to grow into me.
Well, you know, I love that. And what I also like, and as you know, they've taken art out of the schools.
Yeah.
And a lot of parents, and you know, they just say you go to college, you know, try to just get a job, but they don't often just say something that you really like. They just, be a doctor, be a lawyer, make money, or you know, get into the computer field or something. But I like how you said that your family, and I think a lot of, and it's really rare these days to hear that somebody would say, do something that's you like and make money, because it should be something that you enjoy doing. I really like that.
Right, but like my mother's on Christmas, she wouldn't buy us like the in-style toys.
Yeah.
She like, if she knew I know how to draw, I would get crayons, pencils, and papers and stuff for Christmas. And my sister who knew how to sew, she would get sewing machine. We always got toys and things that highlighted our talent.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
and inspired our talents. So at first I didn't. I used to say, "Oh, I want to do some of the in-style toys and stuff like my cousin them." And I didn't like it when I was younger, but as I got older, I understand it. And everything I ever knew by nature, I made a living off of. And so right now, my goal now is to make my living off my acting and stuff, and my writing.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. I would like for you to share something that you would like people to know, because some people think you moved to LA and suddenly you're a big star. What have you learned, or what is a truth to you that says, I'm pressing toward the mark, or continuously going, nothing is going to stop me from getting to a destination? What keeps you going? What is the drive?
You know what keeps me going is I came here for myself to get into my life, because I spent a lot of time taking care of my mother and family and stuff, and I needed to focus on my life and my career and my talent, and every day I keep creating. So that's what makes me want to keep waking up and make my talent work and make a living off of it, because it keeps developing. So I say if it keeps developing and I keep have it in me, I'm gonna keep going for it.
That's amazing.
If it ever walks out of my head, then I probably go, okay, stop. But what inspires me to keep going is my talent. I keep creating every day, and the universe keeps sending me inspiration. A lot like the way your show Intimate PhiL. You're very thankful for a lot of gifts and inspirations and help that people are giving you along in your career, and it reminds me of my life. That's why I kind of like your show, Intimate PhiL.
Well, thank you for that little
No,
wow.
but that's the truth, because you're very grateful and thankful for everything that ever happens to you. And a lot of people are still asking, can I have this? I need this, I want it, but they never said thanks for what they got.
Right.
And from your show, you say thanks. And from my life, I make use of whatever I've been given. I never really looked for anything. If I knew I could do hair, I could design clothes. I worked at clothing store because I could design clothes. I never looked for nothing. I accept what gift I have, and I say thank you, and I start utilizing it. And you're like I was just amazed when I saw your show. That's why I'm connecting it.
Oh, wow.
Because your show, I just never verbally say it. You made a show out of it, and you say it out loud. I just said it in my head all my life. Whatever I did hair, I just said thank you. I can make living. People just offer to pay me.
Wow.
and I sold clothes. People offered to pay me to work at clothing stores and stuff. So that's what makes me keep going. If I didn't have no more creativity in me, I don't know if I would be wanting to wake up.
Well, and all I know is
I couldn't.
the day that you saw my show, not the very first time that we've ever met, you reached out to me, and as I've, I guess, gotten to know you even more, that's something that's just natural that you do. You reach out and give to people, and
But I don't just give to any people. I reached out to people that I see that are utilizing their talent. You was just familiar to me.
Wow.
How I grew up. I just thought you just seemed like a natural, like you love entertaining.
Yes.
And that made me say, oh, I'm gonna tell them about these open mics. I'm gonna tell them this. I'm gonna tell them that. It inspired me to tell you any information I had.
Wow.
So that's what if I don't see that in a person, I don't have too much to say. But I just seen that in you, that you enjoy, you was a natural performer.
Wow, thank you.
Like that. And so that's why I reached out to you. But otherwise, when I see people with certain gifts, I try to bring it out, or I see if they identify with it.
He's a natural born killer.
That's our cameraman and co-producer, Gerard.
But yeah.
Well, you know what, Jody? You are amazing. You are an inspiration, and I just thank you for kicking it with me.
And I'm glad to be kicking it with PhiL. Kicking it with PhiL.
All of Jody's information will be right there at the bottom at the tag, and you'll find out where you can see the show or find out more about the show, the website, and everything. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.